Immigrant. Welcome to King Speak. Percy King here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Today I'm going to be talking about, everybody knows now, at least most people know about the truck driver who tried to use the emergency U-turn lane on the highway here in Florida and basically pulled out in front of a minivan, and all three people in it died when they hit him, broad daylight. Tragic. And now we are finding out that, that you can see inside the cab the guy had, on the turban. He's from India. Turns out that he's been here legally since 2018 and somehow got a CDL. So people like all kinds of pissed about that because, here it is again, an immigrant, an illegal immigrant, killing three people. Now, when black people see things on the news, when somebody black does something stupid, because for some damn reason we all are supposed to, know this person or, be responsible for what every black person in the world does, such that when we see somebody black on the news who commits a crime or something, we do this collective, please don't let them be black. And then all of a sudden when they are black, like, okay, there we go. Everybody else, actually, European Americans going to say, look at those black folks again. Most black folks, when they see something, we just like, you've seen it on Saturday Night Live where they had a sigh of relief when it wasn't a black person on the news, when they did the news show. I just wondered, because, all these different, the Mexicans were, seeing, them being, rounded up by ICE, and, when they commit a crime or something like that, and other different, groups from different countries, same thing. But, you didn't see very much about, from India. I was just thinking if they, like black folks, and, they see something like this happen and they're just sitting there looking at like, oh my goodness, this fucking guy. We had all of the tech jobs, we had the call centers, we were doing all these different things and they were not bothering us, and this fucking guy had to come out here and do this. I'm just thinking if that's, something that, they do, because I would understand it because we do it all the time. But, my thought was that, yeah, I mean, I'd be mad at him. Here you are trying to make sure that, Trump's watch, and ISIS's eye isn't on your people. And now this guy comes out and does this. So now they're going to be looking at you now. Yep. Now you're going to be under the microscope too. So you have to be thinking, ridiculously pissed at this guy, because he just, made it so that now no more hiding in plain sight. Now they're going to be looking at you all too. And you're like, we've been, doing everything right. And, now this guy dodged this, and what are we going to do? Yeah, you're going to be like us now. And, have to be held responsible for something that, one person in, your nationality, race, color, creed does. And now it's a stain for all of you. It shouldn't be for anybody, but now you see why it really shouldn't be like that. But getting back to this truck driver guy, looking at, all the different people that had their take on it, everybody's commenting on the different things. What, kind of strikes me as odd is that it's like most people have been hiding up under a rock or something, because I've been driving for quite a long time, and I've driven on, cross country, and I have seen, people use, that U-turn lane all the time that aren't supposed to use it. Yes, I've seen trucks use it. I've had trucks to pull out in front of me before. I've had trucks to go across the road and they shouldn't do it. Now, most truck drivers are very professional, and they won't do that if you pay them to it, because they realize it's not worth them losing their license, because this is how they eat. So most truck drivers won't do that. But yeah, some will, and some have, and it happens all the time. It's just like anything. People seem to believe that things don't happen unless they've witnessed it. Trees don't fall in the woods unless you're out in the woods. But if nobody's there, trees are falling. Limbs are falling, things are happening. Because we have social media now, and our world has gotten so much bigger, we see a lot more things. We are alerted to a lot more things than we ever were. So now people are believing that things are happening more, when in most cases things are happening less frequently. Because of the watchful eye, you don't have as many crimes like that, or just crimes period taking place. Yeah, and when it comes to a lot of different crimes, you don't have a lot of people doing a lot of things that they did before, because people see you. All right. You have video all over the place. Everybody has a phone. Everybody's taking video. There's pictures happening everywhere. You just basically suppose if you're in public, always think that somebody's videotaping you because, for the most part, somebody is. You may not know it. So people think that these things just are happening so much more now when they really aren't. People were getting away with it because nobody was out there watching them. So these things were happening. And, then I just saw today that, this guy with a Spanish name, the truck driver, and fell asleep and killed, one family, a family of four, and then killed a young lady who was in a Jeep. Just ran them over because he said he fell asleep and woke up because he heard a crash because he had basically killed some people. That keeps happening. I mean, hell, Tracy Morgan got, hit by a guy who, they believe was asleep or he just wasn't paying attention. They believe he had dozed off or whatever, but I don't know. But he definitely wasn't paying attention. Tracy Morgan got seriously injured, and one of the comedians with him was killed. And these things happen. They are, tragic, and you would think that, things would stop, but no, they won't, because it's the nature of people. People are going to work much longer than they should and not pay attention. People are going to go to sleep. People are going to take risks. And that's just kind of how it is. Now, should this guy, at least the first one, have had a CDL? Hell no, he shouldn't have. But he got the hookup somewhere. And they're going to have to find out who gave him the hookup. Now, I feel sorry for who gave him the hookup because they screwed. Because the charges that they're going to get, unless they know somebody, they're going to get them badly. And they really should. Because you see what happened. This is the reason why you can't do those types of favors for people, because you have no idea what those types of favors can result in, what trouble it can get you in. But, my thing is that, these things have been happening, for a while. And yes, people die. He's going to have to pay for it. But, for those who are thinking that, this doesn't happen and they were like, oh, well, maybe it's because he couldn't read English. It had nothing to do with that. American truckers have used those lanes and shouldn't. People do stupid stuff all the time. And you just got to understand that it's just somebody doing something stupid. And that's just it. And, it was ill-advised. And I don't believe it had anything to do with him, not knowing English or anything like that. It just has to do with him being lazy and not wanting to, go all the way down to the next exit. It was stupid. That stupid decision that ruined his life. Now, did it look like he gave a damn? It really didn't. So people were pissed off about that. They're like, it looked like he was just like annoyed by it. And, for that's probably going to cost him some time on his life. Because the judge is going to look at that and be like, you didn't even care about these people. When you look to you, were you in shock? Well, no. But then what? What was it? Don't know. So it looks bad for him. So tell me what you guys think. Comment about this. Let me know what you think about it. And share some stories as to whether or not you ever had trucks pull out in front of you or turn in front of you or do something stupid, or if you've seen them use that emergency vehicle only U-turn lane. As always, like, subscribe, and share this. And we'll talk to you soon.